Hey, good morning, everybody. Today, Romans chapter 8. Man, we're just cranking these out. It's going to be amazing. Today, what's so great is last time, chapter 7, we talk about how we feel wretched because we can't do the things we want to do. Today, get this. Paul starts out, he says, there is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. And what's so great about this is sometimes we feel bad, right? We feel bad, but God says there's no condemnation. Look at the text. He continues, for the law of the Spirit of life that has set you free in Christ Jesus from the law of sin and death. For God has done what the law, weakened by the flesh, could not do, by sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, he condemned sin in the flesh, in order that the righteous requirement of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. For those who live according to the flesh set their mind on things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on things of the Spirit. For to set the mind on the flesh is death, but to set the mind on the Spirit is life and peace. For the mind that is set on the flesh is hostile to God, for it does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it cannot. Those who are in the flesh cannot please God. You, however, are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit, if in fact the Spirit of God dwells in you. Anyone who does not have the Spirit of Christ does not belong to him. But if Christ is in you, although the body is dead because of sin, the Spirit is life because of righteousness. If the Spirit of him who raised Christ from the dead dwells in you, he who raised Jesus from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies through his Spirit who dwells in you. Here's the great news of Jesus Christ. First thing, get this, there's no condemnation. What does that do for you? Listen, it doesn't matter how bad you were, how much you still struggle, there is no condemnation. What does that do for you? Second thing, get this. He says in verse 5, those who, there's a mindset question. Those who live according to the flesh set their minds on things of the flesh. Those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on things of the Spirit. And what I want you to get, what I want you to think about is, what does it say, what does it look like in my life to set my minds on things of the Spirit or things of the flesh? How do I practically, every day, make a decision, today, God, I'm going to set my mind on spiritual things, and I want your help. What does that look like in your life, and what advice can you give to somebody else to do that same thing?